All right, I think we're live. Hey, everybody.
Yes.
Hey, folks. How's
Happy
everybody
Friday,
doing?
YouTube. How are we doing?
Happy Friday. We're here. Oh, man. It's been a week. But it's nice to be back in the saddle. Last time we were with you guys, we did the Golden Aces, which was very different
Mm-hmm.
from our normal live broadcast. So here we are back in the saddle again, man.
On Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, what could possibly go wrong? Well, hello, Locklith. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing
Hey,
well.
Lockleth.
I I DM'd you. Did you see that DM I sent you, Locklith? With that there's so the Yeti does they always have a bunch of shirts for AGDQ or SGDQ, any Games Done Quick event. They put out like a ton of shirts, and a portion of the proceeds goes back to the charity and everything. And they have a really cool Cult of Lamb shirt that I'm thinking about getting. So I sent that to
Yep.
Locklith. And
Are you a pro yet, Lockleth?
yeah, she's working on it. I really want her. I want nothing more in this life, and I may honestly just send her a $20 eShop card to make this happen, because she did tell me that she would do this if I sent her the money for it. But I want her to play Neon White so bad. Like, I just love the idea.
It's a good game. It's a good
I
game.
mean, I love the game, but I love the idea of Locklith playing Neon White specifically. Like, just this cozy, like, low key sort of gamer playing the most high octane anime speedrunning game of all time. Yeah, I would just love to see how she would react to it. So yeah, she says not even close.
How'd you like Neon White, Lockleth? Well, I haven't slept for 2 days and I've developed a coffee addiction.
Yeah, for sure. She's already hopped up on Red Bulls all the time, eating her junk food and whatnot. Oh my gosh. If anybody here listens to the Nintendo Drive post show, that is a very different Locklith, man. Got that all-in mug. I'm actually not drinking coffee tonight. I
will
normally...
only be drinking from the all-in mug from now on.
Yeah, man.
It's legit a really nice mug. I really like our all-in mug.
It's a great mug. I love it.
They're available right now in the all-in merch store if you want to pick any up. But genuinely, I really love our mug.
Yeah, it's a great mug. Hey, Mute Dog. Good to see you, Mute Dog.
What's up, big dog?
Yeah, man. I normally do have coffee, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, I want to be able to just like go right to sleep after this. I'm so tired. So no coffee.
Turned up right now, but the second the show's over, just crash.
Yep. I'll just power down after the show's over, man. My wife and I will probably watch another episode of The Circle, and then I'll be zonked out. That'll be my night.
Get ready for a new cycle, and
yeah. Refill my energy, refill my condition.
Exactly.
My condition is faded right now.
Go find some scrap and
Yeah, man, for sure. I need stabilizers. Home.
Yeah.
These are very deep cut Citizen Sleeper references. If anybody who hasn't played Citizen Sleeper is like, these guys are junkies right now.
No, but definitely check out the brand new episode of All In a Nintendo Podcast tomorrow, because Citizen Sleeper is actually going to be our very first indie showcase of 2023.
Yeah, that's right. All right, guys. Well, if you're ready, man, I think I'm ready to play this intro and get straight into it.
I am so ready.
Let's see if OBS lags through our intro like it has been. We'll see everybody on the other side. We are kicking off the new year right here on All In a Nintendo Podcast, the weekly Nintendo variety show, where each and every Saturday, no shells left unturned, no point is left unearned. But if you're watching us here live on youtube.com/allinpodcast, it's not Saturday, it's Friday. Because we did this thing live. It's Friday, not the Rebecca Black song, not the Fox song that my good friend Sean Capri here is quoting in the YouTube chat. Shout out to everybody watching us live. Love you guys watching us live. And Yeah, man, we've got a good show. It's kind of weird. It feels good to be back in the saddle. We last time you guys saw us, we were delivering the Golden Aces, which is a very different kind of show than our normal news broadcast. So, um,
Aha.
yeah, man, very very different vibes tonight. But we, always start off our show one very particular way though. Golden Aces, regular news broadcast, whatever. We start the show the same way each and every week, Eric. You know what that is?
Shouting out the absolute legends, the veritable Hall of Fame, the veritable all-in army of champions that we call our patrons. And in
Indeed.
fact, we have a few new ones this week, Seth.
We have a couple of new ones. So big shout outs to Dan and Luma, which I think is great. Dan and Luma, what a great name that is. Joining us at the Triforce tier. So welcome, Dan and Luma. You have just got a ton of exclusive content, as well as an exclusive discount on the brand new All In merch store, bit.ly/All In merch. Triforce tier supporters get a little discount over there, man.
Yeah. Check out the
So
brand new merch. We got mugs and shirts. And don't forget, we've got only a couple weeks left to get your limited edition all-in shirt.
the Golden
Aces shirt. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm currently drinking coffee from the all-in mug, which, we were talking about a little bit before we started the show, that I absolutely adore, although I might be a bit biased.
Good mug.
Good mug, but I might be a bit biased.
Good mug. But no, let's thank everybody else, starting with our Golden Banana Bunch. We want to thank Rob Yapel, Third Strongest Mole, Sean Shano Baggins Ashton, Tim A, aka Neoprime33, aka Nintendo Dad number 4, Matt Shy Guy City Murray, Drew Agnew, Phelan Ward, Bill Tucker, Marcus O'Neill, and Liam D. Thank you guys. Love you guys very much. And Sean Capri says it's dangerous to go alone. Join the Patreon. That's correct. And indeed,
That is correct.
we do need to move on to the Triforce tier. Thank you very much to our Triforce tier supporters. Josh Vaughn, longtime friend and supporter, godfather of Tingle Love Tuesday. John Dat Fast Cummins of the Retro Logic and On Topic Retro podcast. The Globe Trottin' Jet Settin' Nintendo Hub and Sparky, the man behind the Nintendo Hub here on YouTube.
And I got to do a quick shout out. Dad, got to do a quick shout out.
Okay.
For his little boy, make sure to take care of that all-in zoo.
That's right. I heard about that. Always got some good stories to share with us in the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Caparello, Octorock 1982 himself, co-host of the Retro Groove podcast, as well as the Octorock 1982 YouTube channel. Shy Guy.
Much love, Adam.
Much love to Adam. Shy Guy, the other half of our Shy Guy mod squad, Danielina Hosa, and the legend himself.
The legend himself, the champion among champions, the legend among legends, the man for whom the wing of the Hall of Fame shall one day be named, Uncle Randy.
Eric is like waxing Shakespearean for Uncle Randy tonight, man. You love to see it. Thanks so much,
I can
man.
be civilized. I can be cultured.
Thanks so much to all of our
I can
supporters,
smart.
Man. You can smart.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys are all amazing. You keep the lights on over here at the All In HQ. You keep the dream alive. Genuinely from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. You guys are amazing.
Thank you very much, guys. No 5-star reviews to shout out this week, but, this is where we would shout them out if we had them. You can leave us 5-star reviews.
The problem is they've seen the 5-star reviews we've gotten, and they're so intimidated by how illustriously well written they are that they're like, well, I can clearly never write a 5-star review as good as these. So I can only imagine that's why we haven't gotten any new
Prove
ones
Eric wrong
in the past couple weeks.
Prove Eric wrong. Look, he said it, not me.
You should try.
I'm not talking about y'all like this, but Eric is throwing the gauntlet down. So, blame him. Leave us a 5-star review and say, this is for you, Eric. Let him hear it, man.
If you ever feel like you need to do a writing exercise, do it in the all-in review little bracket right there. You can finish a writing exercise right there. Kills 2 birds with 1 stone.
There you go. Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Audible is where you can go to leave those written reviews, and I'll shout them out here on the show. But Eric, speaking of Patreon, we dropped something this past week as a Patreon exclusive, little behind-the-scenes content for our patrons. We sat down with our good friends, the Nintendo pals. At least they were our good friends until we sat down and did this.
Bitter rivals.
Now we're bitter rivals because we have decided to take them on in a 2023 Fantasy Critic bracket. We did the initial draft, we recorded it, and all patrons at patreon.com/allinpodcast have access to that. Even for $1, you can get it for just $1, a crisp dollar bill. You can get access to that. And man, it was so much fun. We have posted in an exclusive channel in our Discord for you to follow along with the league and see what the picks were. You can decide who for yourself who got the better picks. I will just say, despite the fact that they got Tears of the Kingdom on the first draft, on the first pick, I still feel really good about our list.
I do. I feel really good about our list too, which is good considering that we have to defeat them now. It is foretold in the all-in tome. Well, we have to, but we cannot lose, Seth, because we don't actually have control over our destiny at that point.
We don't know what's going to happen in terms of the stakes because our communities are actually going to be determining the stakes. There is a form in the Discord, in both of our Discords, where you can actually submit the punishment for what you think should happen to the loser of this fantasy draft. So we're only drafting Nintendo Switch games in 2023. This could be first party, third party, it could be indies or whatever, but it has to be released for the Nintendo Switch in 2023, and our communities will decide what happens to the loser. So head on in there to those channels and get your submissions in. There's a Google form in there for that. So yeah, we have to win now. We have to.
For just $1 over on the Patreon, you can follow the blood feud that has begun between us and the Nintendo pals. Definitely check it out.
Fun listen. And I gotta say too, they picked something, and I should have just shut up. I had my podcaster's brain on.
Oh my god!
I had my podcaster's brain on. I was
thinking,
dead air.
No, shut.
Yeah, I know. It was a critical error on my part, and I'll tell you this, and just anybody who goes in there and listens, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when it happens. Had I not done that, that would have cinched our victory right there. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Anyways, we're going to bury
it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're still going to win. We're still going to win.
With all that being said, sir, what's going on in your world this week since the Golden Aces?
Bro, it's been one heck of a start to 2023 for me. Not all of it good, but it's certainly been a very memorable start to the year so far. I did finally get my premium edition games mail call in. Finally got my wonderful little physical edition. There it is, of Wunderling DX, which I've been looking forward to for quite some time. Wunderling from our friends over at Bitwave. Got the Rain on Your Parade retro edition. Very, very happy with all of that. Got the pins. It's so cool, Seth. I may actually have to 100% Wunderling again.
You're a madman. A madman.
I am a madman. It is a very good game, though. It is a very good game, though, Seth. And in addition to that, I say not all of it has been good, but very memorable. This past weekend, after we did the Golden Aces, I traveled to Jacksonville, Florida, where I actually got to see the final game, unfortunately, the final game of the season of my beloved Tennessee Titans facing off against the, of course, Jacksonville Jaguars, the hometown team, in a game that turned out to be the championship game for the AFC South. Whoever won that game won the AFC South division and would go on to the playoffs. And of course, completing one of the worst collapses in NFL history, my team lost in the last couple minutes of the game to drop their 7th game in a row. Even after losing 6 in a row, we still could have gone to the playoffs had we won that game. Even after losing 6 in a row, we still could have gone to the playoffs. We just had to win that one game. And with just a couple minutes left, the Jacksonville Jaguars returned a fumble, which was 1,000% a forward pass, by the way. But
nobody listening to this podcast knows what you're talking about. You're speaking a foreign language.
Nobody speaks sports ball?
No, nobody listening to this shows. It's just you and Wilk. Only people who know.
All right. TLDR, my sports ball team lost in horrendously heartbreaking fashion, and I was there front and center to hear the unreal noise of the hometown crowd celebrating my sadness.
Oh, you hate to see it. Sorry, man.
So it was a great weekend, but man, did the last 3 minutes just Grumble,
The chat
grumble, grumble.
confirms. The chat confirms. Nope, we don't know what you're talking about. But
Everyone's
we
like,
send our love.
"So you talking about a game? This doesn't sound like English. What's
This
going
isn't
on?"
a video game.
I don't know. Speaking of video games outside of video game context, though, I did also check out the first batch of episodes from Sonic Prime that released in mid-December. So
Forgot it came out.
there's,
I hope it's good.
yeah, it is pretty good. Devin Mack does a really good job as the new voice of Sonic. There are 8 episodes. The first one's like a double-sized episode, 44 minutes, and then the other 7 are standard, like 22, 23-minute length. But it's pretty good. There are some sequences that really don't work. There are some overly long, really awkward sequences that really stick out like a sore thumb. But there are some really cool ideas in there. And there's a pretty interesting narrative going on that weaves in and out of, kind of everything. There are some really interesting, because everybody has to do a multiverse story at this point. It's basically Sonic doing the multiverse, but seeing the different versions of Amy and Knuckles and Rouge and Tails, of course, that he runs into has been really interesting. Some formulaic stuff here and there, some weird stuff, but overall, I dig it. It's not amazing, but I am interested to see where it goes in the next batch of episodes. But if it's something you want to check out, again, the first 8 episodes are available right now on Netflix. So Go ahead and check it out. It'll take you 3 hours to watch everything right now.
Not bad.
But
I can get behind that.
Yeah. But in the world of video games, I was happy to go back to Hyper Gunsport because Necrosoft, the developers, did actually fix that game-breaking bug that was probably my second biggest issue with the title. They went back and they were able to fix that big game-breaking bug that prevented me from unlocking all the content and 100%ing the game. So I went back and I did just that. And you know what? Like I said, that was my second biggest issue with the game. I've still got a few other major issues with it, but I'm glad at least I can report if it is a game you're interested in, a game-breaking bug no longer exists for it.
It works now. Good.
Yeah. They even updated the thumbnail for some reason.
I'll take it.
Why not? Still a pretty cool, like I said, an overpriced arcade sports game that doesn't have online multiplayer, unfortunately, but it does really remind me of some of the best days of the Neo Geo. And again, I dug it. Too expensive, no online multiplayer, but I dug it. So if you can get it on a steep discount, maybe try it out.
Well, hey, Eric, you're getting some love here in the chat. Morgan Worley shouts out, "Much love from Tennessee. Miss you, Eric. Super jealous of your warm weather." So it's not all bad in the realm of the Tennessee sports, man. Getting some love from Tennessee.
I love Tennessee. Love Tennessee. Speaking of games, though, Neon Souls. Neon Souls is a weird little cheap game that I picked up over this past week and is super inexpensive. I don't think it's going to be on a lot of people's radars, but it's kind of like Splatoon as a platformer, because almost like Spinch meets Splatoon essentially, because you play as this little weird rainbow head that when they double jump, they have this massive explosion of paint, and that's actually how you make all the platforms and all the terrain in the game even visible.
Okay.
So it's super cheap. It does have a fairly interesting little gimmick to it. I wouldn't say it's amazing, though. It's kind of choppy, and you can definitely see why it is so cheap. But again, I only got it for a couple dollars, and I do think it's fairly interesting. I haven't beat it yet, but I will probably go back and finish it at some point. I will admit the boss battles are actually kind of rad. So,
nice.
Again, if you can find it for super cheap, Neon Souls isn't amazing, but could be a decent afternoon if you're looking for an interesting little, pretty hard 2D platformer with, admittedly, a really interesting little gimmick to it.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, but speaking of cheap games, 2D platformers, I do want to talk about very briefly a game that both you and I played this past week.
Yep.
A game that we were very graciously given early access to by the developer, Bertil Horberg, the guy behind Gunman Clive, the guy behind Super Punch Patrol. the guy behind Extermination Force. A brand new game of his, Onion Assault, is coming out in a couple weeks. And if you've ever played Gunman Clive, if you've played Super Punch Patrol, you kind of know what you're getting into. But, and this was something you said, Seth, this is basically his Mario 2.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, the thing about him is he kind of just makes these really high quality, short, sweet, inexpensive, like kind of his take on tried and true classic games. Gunman Clive is his Mega Man. Extermination Force is like his Contra. Super Punch Patrol is like his Streets of Rage or his Double Dragon or whatever. And yeah, and so Onion Assault is his Mario 2. And the game's, I think, going to be $7.99. It's about 3 hours long. And it's just a fun little Mario 2 style platformer. I really dug it.
It's all right. I don't think I liked it as much as you. I honestly think it's probably the weak node in his library for me. I really do like Gunman Clive. I really like Super Punch Patrol. We did an indie showcase on that a while back, and the gameplay is okay. There are 2 playable characters. One of my biggest issue with the games, and this was one of the things I thought was bizarre, one of my biggest issues with the game was I played through as one character for the first few stages, and then I switched to the other character and immediately felt the change in control, which said, like, that was the difference that Seth didn't notice. But then he said, but then he said, well, the only thing I noticed is, the characters are different sizes. And that was something I was like, really? And that was something I didn't even notice whatsoever. So
I don't know.
But if there's 16 stages, there's 2 playable characters. It is okay. There are a couple levels there with some cool gimmicks. I do think, especially when you look at his other games like Gunman Clive that are $2-3. I think asking $7.99 for this one specifically is really steep, especially when you can get Gunman Clive. Yeah,
$7.99 is steep
for this one. Yeah,
come on, bro. That's less than a Big Mac at McDonald's, my dude. It
should be $3 or $2 or $3.99.
I disagree. I completely disagree. It's like nothing.
There's only 16 stages.
There's
only 16 stages. Only a couple of them have interesting gimmicks.
I disagree. I think there's a ton of great gimmicks. I think it's really fun to, like, not only is it fun, the base gameplay is fun because, again, it's basically Mario 2. But
it's Mario 2, yeah, exactly.
I like their take on the minecart level. I think is fun.
That was the best one.
Yeah, that was super fun. I think the boss fights are fun. I think the way that they have kind of tackled like kind of environmental gimmicks with the sand and stuff, I thought was fun for it being what it is, for it being a little 3 hour, $7.99 game. I'm like, this is great. Like for what it is, I really liked it. I wish there was more of it. Sure. But
I do too. Yeah.
If the biggest problem is that there's not more of it, I think we're actually in pretty good shape.
I don't know. I just, by the time I was done, like I said, I just felt like it was the weak node in his library. But again, that's just for me. But that's one of the reasons that there's 2 of us here on this show is, there's going to inevitably be games that we have differing opinions on. If you want to check it out, it'll be out in a couple weeks on the 25th, correct? 26th. Mm-hmm. But if you want to check it out, do that for yourself. If you've been really jonesing for a game like Super Mario Brothers 2, like Doki Doki Panic, where you jump on enemies and you can pick them up a la Mario 2, this is exactly what that is.
Yeah, I think too, I think that's a big part of it too, is I think that you're with his games, I think what you get out of it is going to be the way you jive with their gameplay. So like for me, I thought Super Punch Patrol was fine. I feel the way about Super Punch Patrol probably the way you feel about this, which is this is a fine brawler, but in terms of brawlers, I could play a million other because there aren't that many Super Mario Brothers 2 likes.
And that's the thing. Yeah.
I'm like super happy that it exists and it's really fun and cheap and I like it. So I think that's probably got a lot to do with it from where I'm coming at with it. So yeah, I dug it.
But either way, it comes out pretty soon. So if you want to check it out for yourself, you have the ability to do that. So like I said, a ton of stuff going on. Taito did a little video update for the new Puzzle Bobble game that they have coming out. They're actually releasing a brand new like Puzzle Bobble versus Space Invaders mode in that game that looks pretty rad. They actually had somebody in a Bob costume playing the 4-player multiplayer, which was hilarious. Street Fighter announced a concert that's going on January 29th that I kind of want to see, but unlike most of the other concerts that have come out over the past couple of years, they're actually selling digital tickets for this one. This one is actually not free to stream, so we'll see how that goes. And very briefly, just quick shout out to Pokemon and a little video that they posted. And I'm actually not talking about the TikTok video.
I thought for sure that's what you were referencing.
I thought you might think that's what I was referencing. I'm actually not talking about that incredibly vulgar, if you're happy to know it, clap your hands cover that somehow made its way onto the official Pokemon TikTok. I am talking about the celebration here a couple months after Scarlet and Violet have come out. Pokemon actually released a really cool 8-minute video celebrating the 1008 Pokemon encounters that you can now go on throughout the world of Pocket Monsters. The fact that there are now over 1,000 Pokemon in the national dex. Again, couple months late, but the video is pretty rad. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely do go ahead and look that up. Really cool, really nostalgic. They go through basically the entire history pretty comprehensively of the entire Pokemon franchise, again, in about 8 minutes. So brought back quite a few good memories for me. But with all of that being said, been a big week for me, bud. How about you?
I'll be quick. I've been playing. So 2 things I want to shout out. First of all, we did talk quite a bit about Onion Assault. There's also a video here on the YouTube channel that you can check out of me playing Onion Assault, so you can get a really good idea of kind of what the game is there as well. And again, big thanks to the developer for letting us check it out. We also got access to a game called Sail Forth, which there's also a video of here on the YouTube channel, and we were happy to get access to that as well. And this one is actually, I was surprised by it, because if you guys remember, this shadow dropped during the Inside the House of Indies holiday event, and I wasn't all that impressed by it. We talked about it here on the show when we covered that event, and I was like, like the trailer didn't really do that all that much for me. It did shadow drop, but I wasn't super interested to jump right on it. But I'm glad that we got the opportunity to check it out, because I'm not going to lie, I'm impressed with it. It was pretty good. Nice. I like I said, did a video here on the YouTube channel, just kind of coming in blind my first 45-ish minutes with the game. And this is a really cute kind of Wind Waker style. If you thought Wavetail was like Wind Waker, this is even more like Wind Waker.
It's even more Wind Wakery.
Yeah, for sure. And it's all about sailing, but they've done a really good job of making like sailing charming and accessible, and it doesn't feel like overwhelming or bogged down in too many mechanics. It does have mechanics, so like you kind of feel like you're just a step between a like sailing simulator and something more accessible like Wind Waker. So it's like right there in that middle ground, and I really like the way it feels. The visuals are beautiful. It runs pretty well on Switch. I noticed a couple of little hitches, but for the most part it runs well. But what really stuck out to me was just the writing, and the characters are so charming and funny, and there's really good use of like piratey alliteration and stuff. And yeah, I came away from it being like, man, this just goes to show that you really can't judge a book by its cover. You really can't just look at a trailer and say, that's not for me. Because after playing it, I'm like, that kind of is for me. I kind of really dug it. And one thing that I think is low-key brilliant about the game is they've included just a free sail mode. So you can actually just, with no thoughts, head empty, just sail and just go.
Very feather-like, I guess.
Kind of, yeah. And it's really cool. It's really like just relaxing, and the areas are pretty big. There's a big like open map to explore, and little side quests to take on, fun characters. Like, it's just,
I was save the princess.
Yeah, I was impressed. It was pretty good.
Shout out to all the princesses out there. You know who you are.
It was good. I really enjoyed it. Now, I will say this, because I was getting a lot of grief from my co-host Sean Capri on the Nintendo Drive about Fire Emblem Engage. And I've talked about on this show before, all right, I've talked about how Fire Emblem Engage and I are kind of ships passing in the night. It's kind of like it's just not going to happen. I've had 3 houses this whole time. How in the world can I justifiably play Engage when I haven't even played 3 houses? So I said, you know what? I'm going to finally do it. I don't have anything to play on Switch right now. I'm going to do 3 houses. Let's just finally get around to this thing, all right?
I'm going to send my co-host a magnifying glass.
So I go to play it, and it's not just me, by the way. I thought it was just a me thing. Not a me thing. Bowser in the chat. Sean giving someone grief? You must be confused. Oh, it's usually me, Bowser. Make no mistake. So he's giving me all this grief. I'm like, finally, I'm just going to play this. And I boot it up, and you know, for me, and your mileage may vary, but for me, I play my games like 90% in handheld mode. It's just the way life is for me. Usually it's me sitting on the couch next to my wife. She's watching The Circle on Netflix, or she's playing Minecraft or something, and I'm there in handheld mode playing. Or I'm editing or working on a video or something. I've got it next to me on my desk. So I'm primarily a handheld gamer at this point. And the text in Fire Emblem Three Houses is so insanely small. Like, it's ridiculous, and there's no accessibility options to make it like bigger and more readable. So I'm like, is this just a me problem? Like, this is the first time I've ever encountered this on the Switch. I'm sitting there having to literally go in and use the Switch's zoom function, like when you double tap the home button and you can zoom in. I'm having to do that just to read the text in the game. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I cannot do this. So I go on Google just to see if there's like something I missed, if it's just a me thing, and no, sure enough, I'm seeing article after article. Fire Emblem Three Houses text is way too small. The game's like 4 years old now. They're not going to patch it. It's just not going to happen. So I kind of need to cut my
next
losses.
one comes out in less than a week. Of course, they're not going to.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's just not going to happen. So I'm just like, I'm trying. I put like probably 4 or 5 hours into it, and just like sitting here, just like squinting and like zooming in and trying to read the stupid text on the screen. I just can't, dude. I'm going cross-eyed playing this game. So I'm like, you know what? I need something else. Let me go through and just start clearing some games off my backlog. And you'll be happy to know, Eric, after all this time, I'm finally playing Shantae and the Seven Sirens.
Yes.
I've had it since it came out. I'm finally getting around to it. And I've only put about an hour into it, but so far, really enjoying it. I'm really impressed by the amount of cutscenes in the game. They're like a lot of animated cutscenes in the game.
It feels like that at the beginning, but it very quickly gets into the game. And I think there's an ending scene, maybe a lead up to the final dungeon, but yeah, it's you're not bogged down in cutscenes, or you know that it's not always stopping for story progression. It's still very much a Shantae game, very fast-paced Metroidvania. This one very much a true Metroidvania. Most of the Shantae games have kind of like this weird level select, and the individual levels themselves are fairly explorable, but no, Shantae and the Seven Sirens is a true Metroidvania. But it's still a Shantae game, and it's still a ton of fun. Ret to go in and all that.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot so far. And the text, nice and legible.
Yeah. Yes.
Very legible, and basically fully voice acted. Like most of the lines are voice acted, so really, really cool. I'm happy to finally be playing it, and I'm liking it a lot so far. Impressed by it. So maybe something we'll circle back to after I've finished that. We can finally do an indie showcase on it or something, perhaps.
There's a collector-centric moment in that game that is genuinely one of the funniest moments of the entire Nintendo Switch era. I cannot wait till you get to it.
Nice. I do like the little like monster cards and stuff that you're picking up, and that's pretty cool. Yep. It's a nice touch. I like that. But anyways, we do have some news to get into. It's a bit of a light news week, but there are a few interesting little things to talk about. It's more than we've had for the past couple of weeks, so we're fighting for scraps over here, dude.
Well, it is definitely the new year. Stuff is happening. A few things I still wish would happen, but still, let's talk about it.
Hey, listen!
All right, guys, it's AGDQ. Awesome Games Done Quick has been going on for basically the past week and a half for
Started on
most
Sunday.
of for
Yeah.
most of the year so far at this point, it feels like. But there have been some very notable things that happened. Every year at Awesome Games Done Quick, a few interesting world records are set. And this one actually happens to be within the world of core Mario games. We actually had a brand new world record for Mario Galaxy 2. Slow clap, slow
Slow
clap,
clap. Slow clap.
slow
Yeah.
clap.
So this is a category called Super Mario Galaxy 2 Any Percent with Bank, which is a weird category. Set by Jay Hay. The time is 2 hours, 54 minutes, 51 seconds. This is beating Jay Hay's own world record by 4.4 seconds, not a small amount of time in the world of speedrunning. And the with bank category is apparently, and this is just from what I understand, it's like any other any percent category. Any percent meaning get through the game as quickly as possible.
Of
Glitches are
course.
good, out of boundaries are good, just beat it as quickly as you can. But the only stipulation of this is you have to unlock the final galaxy using the bank toad. So with all of that being said, yeah, new world record set, AGDQ 2023, going on still currently right now. But it's always great, always a feel good event benefiting the Prevent Cancer Foundation, and always cool to see some Nintendo games being absolutely broken, like Super Mario Galaxy 2 was.
Yeah. I really am impressed by a lot of these speedrunners, although I will admit, and this is just my take, I would love to hear a lot of other people's opinions on this, but glitched speedruns are kind of hard for me to watch because I don't feel like they're true speed runs of the game. Yes, you're playing it on official hardware and you're taking advantage of errors in the code, but it's imagine if you were running a race and you found a way to actually glitch through the ground to the end. Yes, you technically got to the end, but you've completely broken the spirit of playing the game in the first place. So I really do like AGDQ. I like speedruns, but I personally prefer glitchless speedruns. That's just me. How about you, bud?
Well, the thing about it is like what's cool about a speed run that, and you know, even any percent Mario. I mean, you're seeing here the world record's almost 3 hours long. When
Exactly. Yeah.
when you
Which,
can take
yeah.
when you can take a game like Ocarina of Time, for example, and optimize that run, the any percent run. I don't know what it is now, but last I was into it and checking on it. It's like 10 minutes or 8 minutes or something like that. And the reason for that is because they have found, just from playing this game for thousands and thousands and thousands of hours over the course of 20 years, they have learned like little things about the way that game works and the way that game caches data and things. And they discovered this crazy sequence of events that can basically warp you to the end of the game as Kid Link and kill Ganon with a stick. That's incredible. Like, that's amazing. And like, so I understand like the notion of a glitchless speed run and how like you have to do there's a certain level of skill or stamina or whatever that it takes to do a glitchless run. I think they're both valid.
Yeah.
But like
And I,
it's an incredible amount of skill to do glitch runs too in many cases.
yeah. And I am glad that they do separate them.
Yeah.
I do feel that there is a place in the world of speedrunning for glitch speedruns, and you're right, a lot of them are really interesting, and they in and of themselves are in many cases very difficult to pull off. And yeah, especially if you're playing a lot of games, especially like Legend of Zelda or Mario Galaxy, to do a glitchless speed run would take a very long time, and you certainly don't want to have people there watching you for an entire day's worth of streaming sometimes. But I don't know, if I were ever going to get into speed running, I don't know, I would probably get into I probably wouldn't try to get into any of the glitched speed runs personally. I always feel like I'm subverting the game. I always feel like I'm cheating myself out of an experience.
Yeah. That can be if we see you at AGDQ one day, it'll be in the glitchless category. That's all that means.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's still going on through the weekend. I think it ends on Sunday night or something like that. So best of luck to everybody who is running. I'm sure there have been other world records broken. I don't know if they're Nintendo world records or not, But
There's
we'll
been
see.
a couple. I don't think not nearly as high profile as Mario Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Not like anybody set a brand new SMB world record in a
Yeah.
while. That
That's
would be
another
nuts.
that's
That
another
would be
just hyper
nuts.
optimized run. Yeah, just the older a game gets, the more time people have had to learn it. So you just get these super optimized runs. So
SMB is basically down to like TAS speed at this point. Human
yeah.
being couldn't do it any faster than a tool assisted. But
Hmm.
still, yeah, speed runs are still one of the most amazing and insane parts of the video game landscape. I'm so glad that that community has been able to thrive and grow as much as it has, to the point where these are some of the biggest events of the year now.
Yeah. I need to go back and watch some of the VODs for some of the runs I've missed. Like I really want to see the Neon White run that I know happened. I didn't get to watch it live, so I definitely want to watch that. So
Yeah.
but
But
Ubisoft has been speed running themselves into bankruptcy this past week,
yeah.
Eric. Any
Yeah,
percent
2000 80% bankruptcy speed.
bankruptcy run? Any percent Ubisoft?
Yeah, unfortunately, Ubisoft hasn't really had a very good 2023 as of yet, and I do feel kind of bad laughing about that. That was a funny joke, though. I'll give you that. But yeah, as much as we love Ubisoft and the fact that they released one of our Game of the Year nominees back in October, November, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, it turns out that game didn't do quite as well as they had hoped, and Ubisoft has been cleaning house a little bit in wake of some pretty dire financial reports.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The Mario Rabbids thing was specifically called out in this.
Hmm.
They specifically were like, hey, like this game is actually their entire holiday sales report was kind of dismal in general.
Yeah.
They didn't have a good holiday just in general. But they said that Sparks of Hope was, despite having quote excellent rating and players reception as well as an ambitious marketing plan, end quote, they were surprised at how low the sales were for it. They didn't release these sales numbers. We don't know what the sales data was, but we do know that the first Kingdom Battle sold over 10 million units, which is very, very good for a new IP, especially being such an ambitious IP that Mario Rabbids is. Um,
Hmm.
so I think
However,
they
comma space.
exactly. So they come into Sparks of Hope kind of basing their sales projections on, well, the first one sold 10 million. This one's got to do at least that good, right? We're going to market it. It's got a bigger budget. The problem is that like a lot of Ubisoft games, I think most people got their hands on Kingdom Battle, the first game, for $20, which it was within like a month of coming out, right? And that created a culture among gamers of just like, hey, why buy a Ubisoft game on day one when we can just wait for it to go on sale? And I heard many, many people saying that about Sparks of Hope specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, we
So,
gave it a glowing review. Again, we nominated it for Game of the Year, but there were a lot of people, even within our own community, that, I mean, especially when you talk about how many amazing games came out over the past few months, we did see a lot of people, even within our own community, that said, hey, I'm going to have to wait on it. I've got other stuff to play. Hopefully, it'll come down in price soon. So, in addition to the fact that that's probably going to happen anyway, and a lot of people knew that, the fact that people had other options, they said, well, this one's probably going to go down in price. I'll play all this other stuff and not spend full price on this just yet. Now, ultimately, it's hard for us to just look at that and single that out as the reason. I definitely imagine that factored into it, but I don't know. I would feel bad just trying to lump everything on that. I do think there were a few other factors at play, and of course, when it comes to globally recognized products and massive IPs like this, trying to say anything happened because of this one thing is probably not 100% true. But regardless, we do know that the sales numbers as of yet have been very disappointing for Ubisoft, and I was worried that it may actually affect the forthcoming DLC. However, David and Grant both have come out and said to a couple different people on Twitter that there is no danger of that happening as of
No.
right now. I don't know if that's just spin, them trying to be super positive because they always are anyway. But as of yet, we don't have any signs that the DLC for Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is going to be impacted yet.
Yeah, and the PR spin that Ubisoft has given about it is that they're hopeful. They think this will be an evergreen title for them. It'll continue to sell and things like this.
Yeah,
And like what's unfortunate is that the game is worth full price. The game is very, very good.
absolutely.
And it is worth your time and money. But they have undervalued their own IP. And like I don't think that's everything. I think some of it has to do with the fact that it released on, I think, the same day as Bayonetta 3. It released like right at the same time. I think Pokemon came out like a week or two after. Like it was already bad timing for it. It was already a busy holiday. So I think all of these things kind of came together against Sparks of Hope. If you're gonna cut a game from that list, it's probably gonna be Sparks of Hope for many people, especially when they felt like in a month it would be $20, and they felt that way because Ubisoft has set that precedent for themselves. So I think it's unfortunate. The DLC's already been like funded, it's locked. I don't think anything's gonna happen with that, but I am nervous that they're going to not greenlight a third one. I'm nervous that they're gonna feel like a third one isn't worth pursuing, which kind of stinks because I feel like Sparks of Hope was the franchise like really hitting its stride. Like the first one was great, but Sparks of Hope, I was like, okay, this is what it is. Polish this, perfect this, and the third entry in the series will be really special. And I am scared that there isn't going to be a third entry after all this.
Well, I hope the game does wind up being an evergreen title for them. Emphasis on the green. I hope this game is able to eventually make up its budget, eventually surpass its budget, eventually get to the point where Ubisoft doesn't have cold feet, because it's like pulling teeth for us to get Nintendo games from Ubisoft. You and I have covered several big Ubisoft forward presentations where we were essentially just grasping at crumbs trying to find Nintendo Switch news. This was the big Switch killer app from the French company, and it came out and
Yeah, and their Dow Jones share price tanked, 10.5% hit after this. They wound up canceling 3 games that were in development. Skull and Bones or whatever got delayed like a 6th time. They're talking about they're like gonna cut like $200 million or euro or whatever worth of restructuring and loss. So it's not good news. We'll see what happens. I wish all the best to everybody affected. If layoffs wind up happening, restructuring's going to happen. Just wishing the best to the actual people affected. The games are great, whatever. Go play Sparks of Hope. It's worth full price, but I mostly care about the people who are making it, the people who are working over there.
Yeah, so. I mean, just even more bad news. Wasn't another Ubisoft game just get a really dubious world record? Oh,
I don't know.
Was it Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Oh, yeah. Last year, Beyond Good and Evil, because they canceled 3 games in development, and Beyond Good and Evil 2 somehow, as far as we know, wasn't one of them. That game's been in development for years and years. It did take the world record from Duke Nukem Forever for the longest game in active development in history. So, yeah, that's something. We'll see, man.
We like you, Ubisoft. I hope you can turn stuff around.
Yeah, I hope so too. But let's talk about some pocket sand, Eric. Let's talk about some pocket sand.
That was a great, stupid little meme. So what we're talking about is obviously Kirby was announced to get a brand new ability in the forthcoming Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, but somebody took that and took a little clip of Dale Gribble from King of the Hill from the moment that he takes a random handful of sand out of his pocket and throws it into somebody's face, yelling the attack, "Pocket sand!"
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the first thing you think of. But the reason this all came out was because, and you'll actually, if you listen to that Fantasy Critic recording we did with the Nintendo pals, we're kind of, spoilers, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe didn't get drafted by either one of us.
No.
And the reason for that is not only because we were kind of like, it's not going to have like online co-op or anything like that. That kind of stinks. But it didn't really seem like they're adding all that much new content to the game. We knew that the mech ability was going to be a new copy ability and stuff. But other than that, it's kind of like, okay, whatever. Well, this week they've kind of blown the doors off a little bit. They launched the Japanese website for the game. They've shown off a lot of the mini games that are going to be in there. And they've shown off some new copy abilities. A brand new one called Sand, which is being added to the game, and the festival copy ability from Star Allies is returning as well. So Return to Dreamland Deluxe is actually getting a little bit more than we maybe initially thought.
And just the fact that, hey guys, we haven't shown you everything that we were going to add to this deluxe version yet. Just that alone has me thinking, what else? Because this didn't feel like this was a supplemental announcement. This was a kind of yes and. This didn't feel like a yes and mic drop.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like there's even more they could potentially show off. We still have a full month before the game releases in late February, but we've got the mech ability. We've got the returning festival ability. Basically, you suck up Pave from Animal Crossing, and you have a huge festival song, and it's a big screen clearing attack like Blast. But to have another new ability get added to this, just be kind of randomly announced, the way it was announced makes me really think there's even more stuff to this game that we haven't seen yet. Potentially new abilities. And what I'm potentially thinking is the entire gimmick with Return to Dreamland was these souped up versions of abilities that you occasionally got access to, like this super sword ability or super fire or beam or ice or whatever. And you would go through these really interesting set piece stages using these ultra abilities. And if they're going to go through the work of adding brand new abilities to the game, I don't know if they'll do this with any of the new abilities, but it does make me wonder if they've actually added in some more of those ultra power set piece stages, because those were a ton of fun. And I would like to see them, like they've already expanded the game pretty well. It still really bumps me out about the no online multiplayer.
Me too.
But after this announcement this past week, I was like, okay, Kirby, all right, okay, fair enough, I see you.
Yeah, a little more meat on the bone, perhaps, than we were expecting. So, looking forward to it. I think we're gonna learn more about it before the game comes out too in February. So, looking forward to that.
I'm gonna love it anyway. It was probably my third favorite game on the Wii, honestly, behind the two Mario Galaxy games, and I really like the pseudo cell shaded filter that they have on the deluxe version now, and the fact that they have no neck DDD from Forgotten Land as the DDD for this deluxe version. That's also something that makes Eric happy.
Makes me happy. The only way you can play is any of those other characters, though, is in co-op. So it's like, man, sure would be nice if I could play it online, but it
wouldn't surprise me at all if you unlock the ability to play as them after you beat the game. As a matter of fact, maybe. I would even bet that's the case.
Yeah, maybe. We shall see. But quick PSA here before we move into some notable releases. We do know, as of, I think, the time we're recording this, like as of Friday, Square Enix released a free demo for Dragon Quest Treasures, just like they've done with basically all of their Dragon Quest games on the Switch. There's a free demo. You can download that, get a taste of Dragon Quest Treasures, and you can carry your save over into the full game. I'm probably going to do that. I've been wanting to check this one out, so I probably am going to download that demo and see what's up. So, PSA.
I'm going to check it out too. I mean, demo, free. Why not check out the demo and see if it's a game you're going to like? Why not spend literally no extra money as opposed to $60 on a game you don't know about?
Yeah.
Check out the demo. And that's the whole point. So, and it's free.
It's free. But let's hit some of these notable releases. For the first time in a couple weeks, we have some notable releases. What is life? Hey, we can shout out some stuff. We have some
notable releases. We still don't have any new NSO notable releases. We're basically on NSO watch at this point. Astounded that GoldenEye hasn't dropped yet. We're basically on NSO watch. However, we at least have some stuff to hold us over before the 5 minutes we inevitably spend on GoldenEye. And it's actually not all video games.
That's right. There's some. Oh, I should have brought. I picked them up today. The Kazuya and Sephiroth.
I figured you would have them right there with you.
Yeah, they're in the living room. They're still in the bag. I haven't opened them or anything yet. Yeah, I forgot to bring them in here to my office. But yes, the Kazuya and Sephiroth amiibo did come out. And I did grab them both, and they're very nice and pretty, and I like them a lot. So
yeah, I tried 4 separate places, neither of which got shipments in.
Dang.
So I may just have to resort to Amazon. I don't know what it is about Central Florida. Like nobody gets anything down here. Blows my mind. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah. They just came out. We still are waiting. Pyra and Mithra coming later this year, and we assume Sora is going to be coming, and that'll round out the Smash amiibo, man.
And more than likely, and we've talked about this before, more than likely amiibo, potentially in general. We shall see.
I think so.
But if you've been gathering all the amiibo and hoarding them all around like a big Nintendo golem, you have a couple more to pick up this weekend. And those figures just get better and better each time around. Even close-up videos of those look absolutely stunning.
Yeah, they do. The molds just get better and better. So
yeah,
like them a lot. But we did have video games come out, and I want to. So this game. This is a terrible title, but the game itself looks cool. Vengeful Guardian Moonrider.
Yes.
I remember you were telling me about this. You picked this one up, right?
I did pick this one up. Yes. It had a fantastic ad. Very you've seen Kung Fury, right?
Yeah.
Seth?
Big time.
Yeah. A very Kung Fury vibe type of 80s nostalgia. Almost something like Devolver Digital would put together.
Totally.
They put together this great cyber ninja samurai kind of thing, and it basically is a 16-bit action adventure game, very much in the vein of something like a 16-bit Ninja Gaiden or Contra, or like The Messenger or Cyber Shadow, if it was actually back on the Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo. Looks utterly rad, completely over the top. I picked it up. I cannot wait to check it out this weekend. That was a very quick purchase. This was a game that wasn't really on my radar, but that was one of the quickest purchases I made after seeing an advertisement probably in my life. I was like, this is rad. Bought.
It does look good. I do want to play it. I'll wait to hear what you say about it, but I do want to play it. It does look good, but again, terrible title. Y'all gotta improve the title game, man. Video game titles are important, because I'm not going to lie to you. Had it not been for you telling me about it and the trailer and everything, I would have glossed right over that.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? So
that's fair. Admittedly, even the thumbnail isn't really that striking, but the videos and the ads for it are S tier. They're so cool.
So tell me about the Breakers collection. I think you picked this up like physically, didn't you? The Breakers.
Yes,
collection?
I have it pre-ordered physically. I should hopefully be getting it in the mail before forever. But essentially what this is the Breakers was yet another fighting game franchise that came out on the Neo Geo that didn't just get Neo Geo ports on the Nintendo Switch. The two games actually got collected into a single coagulated homunculi of fighting game goodness and turned into an actual, honest to goodness, full-on release. It's super niche, but buttery smooth gameplay. Cannot wait to actually get on and play this. Really small roster, unfortunately. I think there's like a total of 8 or 9 characters, but it's got online to it. And again, buttery smooth. Reminds me a lot of Gauro from the Neo Geo, which is one of the most well-regarded fighting games of all time. And I don't have it. I didn't want to double dip because it's not the cheapest game. It's $19.99. It's $20 digitally. It was considerably more expensive physically for the collector's edition that I got, as you might imagine. But at $20, I didn't want to double dip. I'm just frothing at the mouth for my collector's edition to come in. Very excited to get online and play some Breakers with, I don't know, maybe even a few members of our amazing community. We shall see.
Yeah, let Eric know if you're one of the people who are picking up the Breakers collection.
Yes, please.
Seems cool. I know there's some excitement about it. Another game that dropped, Terror of Hemosaurus, finally dropped on the Switch. Been waiting on this one for a little while. I
Yeah, kind of
played
like a
the
Rampage spiritual
big
successor a little
time,
bit.
big
Yeah.
time, huge Rampage influence. The game's really fun. I know you're saying you felt like the art and the character models are kind of generic or whatever.
Yeah, I'd like to try
They
it out,
are.
but that was kind of my that was kind of my initial thing is like I love one of the things I love about Rampage is, George and Lizzie and like these really larger than life, very out there personalities. And honestly, the monsters in Terror of Hemosaurus just look like movable plushes. They didn't look very rad, I guess is the best word to put it. And the reason I say that is because that was one of the things that worked with Rampage, with it being a very arcadey style game. They were very arcade, over the top, spectacle style, very out there, very in your face type of personalities. Where these characters just seem like they're just there to me, and that was a little bit of a turnoff for me. But I hope the game's good still.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like I said, I played the demo during Steam Next Fest, I think about a
Mm-hmm.
year ago, and I really liked it. It's just a fun, like, just like
Good.
Rampage, destroy things, kill people. It's just fun.
All the fun of the fair.
Yeah, I feel I do remember the writing being really good and funny, so I do want to play this. I'll probably pick that up and play through that at some point. And then I did want to give a shout out to Dusk 82, which is a like NES demake of what was already a retro throwback, like kind of Doom
Yeah.
style first person shooter that I actually played through on the I think this was back when we were on Twitch, but I did like this 6-hour Halloween stream, and I played through it there, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And they have done a NES demake of it called Dusk 82 or 86 or whatever it is. I think it's only a couple dollars or something. So
Yeah.
it's a neat idea. It's a neat little idea. So,
I'd be willing to check it out. Maybe maybe a good spooky indie showcase later on. I
yeah.
I do see that becoming a trend now, is especially with retro games and us kind of being in this golden age of retro nostalgia. A lot of people taking these more AAA, more polished looking titles and making demakes of them, or digitized or low poly or pixel art versions of them. Like, did you see the one for Bloodborne?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
actually looks rad. That looks amazing.
Bloodborne PS1 looks pretty cool, but what I like is that isn't what this is. This is a
Yeah,
demake of a game that was already like a
already.
demake. So I think that's such a fun little idea. I kind of want to check it out.
Yeah. And I will say, just a couple hours before we went live, there was another game that popped up on the Nintendo Switch eShop that I also picked up called Under Dungeon.
Oh yeah,
Gato Roboto,
I
the
did see
very
this.
Commodore 64 looking black and white monochrome type game that we actually did an indie showcase on last year.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like maybe a top-down RPG Legend of Zelda esque version of Gato Roboto. But in addition to that, it looks like there's actually some really interesting monochromatic first person shooter sections, or first person sections at the very least. But one of the things, in addition to the fact that it's $2 right now, marked down from 14, 85% discount right now for the first 3 weeks. And I was like,
Crazy.
$2, why not? But honestly, the thing that stuck out to me the most, the game is rated M.
That's weird.
Not just the fact that it's rated M, it's rated M for one thing.
Okay.
It's rated M just for drug use.
Huh. Must be some pretty heavy drug use.
I've never seen that before in my life. I have
Wow.
never seen that before. Apparently, this Commodore 64-esque monochromatic top-down RPG where you play as a cat is a mature rated game solely for drug use. I kind of want to play it just because of that.
Just to see what it is. I saw this game on there. No clue what this is, but it's $1.50, and I kind of want to check it out.
I saw the idea.
This game's called Courageous Deduction Nori 2 Betrayed Nori. and it's just a picture of some onigiri sitting on a plate with that title written in like just I don't know
Terrible font.
Helvetica, like standard Helvetica font. And then the sort of byline underneath it is the sort of tagline, the orthodox sequel to seaweed. And I'm morbidly curious. I kind of want to check this out. The pictures,
If you
I
do,
looked at
I've
the
got to
pictures.
know.
I looked at the pictures and I'm like, this tells me absolutely nothing about the game. The pictures couldn't, none of the words or the imagery tell me anything about what kind of game this is. I kind of want to try it. So, anyways.
Looks so weird. Looks so weird. But, you know, here we are, beginning of 2023. Some weird stuff going on, some cool stuff going on, some stuff we wish was going on. But ultimately, there's more than enough for us to talk about. But what are all of your thoughts on everything going on in the world of the big N? We'd love to hear from you guys. We love every member of our community. And we hope that if you're not yet, and we hope that if you're not yet, you decide to become a member of our community. Reach out to us at All In Podcast on Facebook, on Twitter, and join our Discord. We would love to have you over there. We have so many amazing people. If you just want to come in and play some games, we're there. If you want to come in and just be part of an awesome, positive gaming community, that's what whatever you want, we're there, unless you want to be negative and toxic. We don't do that.
That's true. We don't do that. We don't do
That's
that.
true. That's true. Only awesome certified legends in our Discord. And speaking of awesome certified legends, we think you guys should also check out our Patreon.
Yeah, if you got a few bones to throw our way over at patreon.com/allinpodcast, we sure would appreciate it. There are 3 awesome tiers of support over there. A ton of exclusive content you get over there, like the Patreon exclusive Fantasy Critic draft we did against those Nintendo pals. We're gonna bury those Nintendo pals this year. We don't got long to wait.
Podcast after this.
Oh my gosh, they should be ashamed of themselves. But no, head over there and check that out. Again, we have merch now, bit.ly/allinmerch. Grab yourself a mug, grab yourself a t-shirt or something like that. Limited edition Golden Aces shirt over there. Grab it while you still can. And if you don't have any bones to throw our way, you can actually support us completely for free by dropping some words on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and Audible. Leave us a 5-star written review, drop a few words, and I'll shout them out here on the show. And on Spotify, you can leave us a 5-star rating. We super duper appreciate it.
He will shout you out. He will do it. I've seen him do it. I can't stop him.
That's right. Can't be stopped. Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop the beat. Go dun, dun, dun. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us each and every week, making us part of your weekly rotation. To all of our patrons, you guys are amazing. I can't tell you enough. To everybody who has dropped words on whatever podcasting service you listen to us on, thank you all so much for that. Or if you have just, consumed or retweeted or shared or somehow exposed yourself to our content in any way, shape, or form and help spread the word, guys, from the bottom of our hearts, namaste.
Namaste. That's the news, everybody. Thank you all for stopping by, for tuning in, for helping troll Sean Capri in the chat. Thank you all very much.
Yes, thank you for helping troll Sean Capri, our good friend from the Nintendo Drive.
Yeah.
And Carpool Gaming and all the other stuff that he does.
He does a few things.
He does a few things.
He does,
most importantly, hang out in our YouTube chat.
Couple little jokers hanging out with him on the Nintendo Drive, though. I don't know what's going on with his co-host.
I don't know about those people.
Don't know about those
But
folks.
For anybody who's still watching us right now, I just want to very quickly bring your attention to my background, which is the brand new single from our friend, the Red Panda, Princess, which just dropped earlier on today. He went ahead and tweeted it out. I brought it up on YouTube. So if you haven't checked it out already, definitely check out again the brand new single from our friend Jordan, the Red Panda, at It's the Red Panda over on Twitter.
But you don't have to take it from us. He is actually our first guest of 2023. So on the podcast going live tomorrow on all of the podcast services, there are links below to check out the podcast, our weekly Nintendo podcast. We've got Jordan joining us, first guest of 2023. He's going to tell you a little bit about Princess. He's going to share exclusive first details of his upcoming EP, Digital Dream Volume 2. And yeah, we've got the exclusive details from him talking about his musical journey. Great interview. I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. We've also got
Yeah.
a really fun top 5 on the top 5 cliffhangers in Nintendo history, and we're taking care of even more unfinished business in the indie showcase with Citizen Sleeper, a game that I've been playing for the backtrackers in the carpool gaming community, but
Is
uh,
very good.
is very
Is
good and
very good.
was snubbed at the Golden Aces. So we're taking care of that right now. First proper episode of 2023. We're giving it a full indie showcase. So this is but a taste, just a little taste of the podcast that goes live tomorrow. So if anybody is, before you head out, like and subscribe here on YouTube. We super duper appreciate it. And yeah, until then, guys, we love you very much. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Have a great weekend, guys.